Have you ever watched a video on aiming or researched how to do this? If you have, then you're not alone. Did you know when it comes to pool, the most searched term on YouTube is, how do I aim? I've done a few videos on aiming across my different channels and they're always the ones that get the most views. So it's a topic that people really focus on. And now for a bit of controversy. What would you think if I said some players place too much focus on aiming? Well, on this video, I'm going to prove to you why that is. Now, when it comes to pool, people have very strong opinions on things, and you often get told this is the right way to do something or doing that is wrong. But my personal view is a lot of it depends on the individual player. Think about it. We're all different. We all play to different levels. We all have different techniques. And we've probably all learned various aspects of the game in different ways. My advice tends to be, if you found something that works for you, then it doesn't matter if someone else thinks that that's wrong. I'll give you an example. When it comes to aiming, I think the ghost ball method is overly complicated. It relies on you manually calculating where to aim the cue ball, rather than just relying on the experience that you've built up here and letting your brain work it out for you. I've never used this method, and I've got to a reasonable standard of play, and I know some very, very, very good players who have never used it either. However, I do get a lot of comments on my channel from people who say that they use it and it really helps them. So if it works for them, then how can it be wrong? Despite my relaxed view on what's right and wrong in pool, I do have a very strong opinion that some people focus too much on aiming. Now, aiming is obviously really important. So why do I think that? Let's make it really simple. If you remove things that are out with your control, like kicks, balls rolling off, or someone giving you a fright as you're about to play a shot,
Peekaboo!
then there are only really two reasons why you might miss a pot. Number one, your aiming is wrong. Or number two, you haven't hit the cue ball where you were aiming. Would you agree? Well, now I'm about to prove to you why number two is more likely the reason that you've missed your shot. Let's see if I can convince you with an anecdote first, and if I can't, then I'll show you some undeniable proof. Think of a really good player that you like. Have you ever seen them miss a ball? You probably have. That player is a professional. They're one of the best in the world, and they've probably practiced for thousands of hours. Yet I bet they've missed an easy ball recently. Why do you think they miss? Is it because they don't know where to aim? Or is it more likely that something went wrong with their technique on that particular shot that caused them to miss? It doesn't mean that your technique is bad or that there's anything wrong with it. Every player, no matter how good they are, will hit a lot of shots differently to how they intend. And there's so many reasons that this can happen. The main one is that you're actually aiming the tip of your cue at a very, very small point on the cue ball, and it's so easy to miss that very slightly and put some side on the ball. As we know, side throws the ball off its natural path, and so it's very easy to miss for this reason. Am I starting to convince you yet? Well, if I have, I'm about to throw a spanner in the works. Aiming is one of the first skills that you learn when you pick up a cue. Once it's learned, it's there. You don't adjust it or make any tweaks to it. It remains the same for the rest of your pool days. Technique, on the other hand, is something that changes a lot. You'll probably change it multiple times in a frame, depending on whether you're playing a hard shot, a soft shot, stretching, bridging over ball, playing off the cushion, generating a lot of spin, or countless other reasons you may change your technique during a game. Is it starting to sound like maybe there's too much focus on aiming? Well, here comes a very small, tiny, minute flaw in the argument. Aiming does have to be learned. When you first started out, you probably didn't even know where to aim to pot easy shots like this. But that's when you first started out, and you've moved on since then, and you probably know where you need to make contact with that ball in order to pot it. So if you're starting out just now, then by all means, focus on aiming. If you've been playing a while and still miss a lot, then here's where you're going wrong. Technique is the issue, and I'm about to prove it. I've got a dead straight pot here, and because I've learned how to aim, I know that I need to make a full ball contact with the yellow in order to pot it. How often would you pot this shot out of 10? And be honest. Probably 10, right? You can probably pot it with your bad hand, the wrong end of the cue, your eyes closed,
or even your bad hand and your eyes closed.
Let's move the cue ball to here. It's the same pot, it's the same line, and we need to make contact with the same point on the yellow ball. So we know where we need to aim, but how many times out of 10 would you pot it now? While I show you this experiment, can I please ask, if you're enjoying this video, then please give it a like, as it means YouTube will recommend it to more people that might benefit from it. Now, in that example, I aimed at the same place every shot. The reason I missed was because I didn't make the cue ball go where I wanted it to. And that's because my technique wasn't perfect on every shot, and the one that I missed, I didn't push my cue through in a straight line. Aiming is quite a convenient excuse for missing shots, but I really believe the majority of the time is down to a flaw in technique. As I said at the start, most of the time with pool, there's no right or wrong. So if you don't agree with me, then that's fine. But if any of what I've said makes sense, then maybe try to look at how to improve your technique rather than focusing solely on improving your aiming. I've put 2 videos on screen just now, one on aiming, one on technique. Which one are you going to watch? And if you haven't subscribed already, then please just hit that big button right in the middle of the screen. Thanks, and I'll see you on the next one.